Akuni runs through my veins. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Akuni world. Let me take this music off. What I like to do is, I like to always listen to a song before I start recording, get myself in the zone. I was reflecting, and last night I realized that my current self does not align with the vision. It doesn't align with the next step, the next leap, in order to accomplish the reality that I know that I'm capable of achieving. With Akuni, I like to preach being authentic, being your unapologetic self. Yet, time and time again, I find myself failing to practice what I preach because at the end of the day, you're going to have to do it scared. When you take these leaps of action and making a real change in your life, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, and it requires you to have a threshold of energy that you're not used to expending in order to make certain things happen or go on with certain decisions that may not align with who you were, but rather who you want to be, who you will become. For me, I've changed so many times. I've made several leaps of faiths. I failed many times, and I still fail till this day. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking backwards, only to find myself more ahead than I thought I was in my head. I realized that when you stick to a program and you commit to it and you embrace the discomfort of the reality that it brings, you're really able to reap the benefits. But the hard part is not just holding on to that energy that comes with it, that you acquire, but continuing to push. Because once you make it here, it's time to make it here, and then here. And you might find yourself trying to get over here, and you slide right back down. But that's okay. I believe it's part of the process. Because I've made it here, here, and here, slid down here, got back up here even quicker than before, because you learn from your actions. You learn from your success and your failures. You learn from it, and it stays in your head. But the question is, are you still going to do the things that you know that you need to do, even if in your core you know that you're so fucking afraid, and part of you just doesn't want to do it because it's comfortable to not do it. It is comfortable. I would almost say it almost feels good not to do it, but something interesting that happens, to me at least, is when I know that I'm not doing what I know I need to do or what I should be doing, I feel this dull ache right above my stomach, like where my diaphragm is between my ribs. And it just aches. It aches. Almost like it's screaming at me deep down from a dark abyss, telling me that if you don't get your shit together, if you don't walk in that fire and embrace that pressure that comes with it, I'm not going anywhere. And I will keep reminding you until you are fucking miserable. Until you regret not moving. It's almost like I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. But if I do it, I can reap the benefits. But there's been one or two things that really stunned me from taking these leaps of being my unapologetic self. What stuns me is the price that I have to pay for it. How will these people view me? Will I be accepted for who I present myself as? Are they going to like my true colors? Because I admit it, I care. I care about what other people think. I haven't gotten to that point where I don't give a shit. And what I do know, I'm convinced that once I stop giving a shit about how other people perceive me, once I give up this silly little fucking performative act, I really believe crazy things will happen. Crazy things have already happened. I've created beautiful pieces of art. I've put in the time and effort to understand and dive into parts of myself that I never thought I would embrace when I was younger. But it's painful. We don't like to feel pain. Sometimes I do, but that's when I guess I'm high off life. But when you're not high off life and you feel like your back is against the wall, I really feel like that's when your true colors show. Because that's when the fear comes. That's when you really begin to realize what the bottleneck of your next progression is. Because we all have so much room for improvement. Ever since my first video on this channel, I've grown so much. I've entered very low lows, very high highs. It's a roller coaster. But the one thing I didn't have was a system that I could really follow. A system that I can fall back on and just, I guess, mindlessly follow and act upon. When you're living your life on airplane mode, it's very difficult to make any real movement because they're all over the place. You're not pinpointed in one direction. And I don't recommend that for you guys. I recommend that you at least create a plan or something that you can follow on at least for a month. See where it takes you, because once you learn how to concentrate your energy into one point, you're really able to supercharge shit, supercharge your results. But whether it's good or bad, your actions do have consequences. Let me look over here. To look over here at the camera. Whether it's good or bad, your actions do have consequences. And my current fear of how other people will perceive me is it's really been fucking with me, because I want to do a lot of things and I know I can. And I guess that's why I'm recording this video. Do you guys feel this way too? Do you guys have traits or characteristics of yourself that you keep deep down below, away from other people, away from the public? Because I do. I'll be honest, I do. And I think those traits are pretty dope, but it doesn't really feel good to make people uncomfortable. It doesn't really feel good to make people question you, make people feel like you're not who they thought you were. I don't always want to create a disruption. Though that fear of creating a disruption ultimately creates a disruption in myself. So, in a sense, it's either me or them. But before I end this video, let me ask you this. Do you think it's fair for you to hide your true colors from people? Do you think it's fair for you to hide who you really are? To sell yourself short? Because this fear of mine, it could probably all just be a facade in my head. It might not even be that serious. It is possible that I show my true colors and people are fine with it. It's not going to set a bomb. It's not going to ruin everything in my life. But as humans, we don't really like change. We like to stay comfortable with what we have now because it makes us feel safe. But just because it makes us feel safe doesn't mean that it's necessarily good for us. Just some food for thought. A Cooney world. Creation and destruction for your ego. Because the ego can either serve us or destroy us. But we can choose how our life plays out. Because we're the ones in control of us. Not other people, but us. So if you feel this way, if you feel that fear of embracing your true colors and letting that shit shine, I just want you to know that I'm there with you. I'm there with you. I'm still figuring things out. But I have high hopes for us. We're gonna make it work. And they'll see. They'll see. And they'll either like it or they won't.